Hi, my name is Brian Otot, and I'm Superintendent of the Paulding County School District. On November 5th, there will be a referendum before the public on whether to extend the 1-cent sales tax known as E-SPLOST, or Education Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. Over the last several weeks, we have engaged our community in a series of conversations that were designed to provide information as well as answer questions. What follows, and I hope that you'll watch, is the very same PowerPoint we share with the community in a narrated form. So please take a moment and educate yourself on E-SPLOST, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
On November 5th of this year, the voters of Paulding County will have an opportunity to go to the polls to vote on an issue that comes along once every 5 years, the E-SPLOST for schools that is used for constructing new schools, adding classrooms to existing schools, renovating existing facilities, and providing classroom resources and technology for Paulding County students. SPLOST stands for Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, and of course the E is for education. It is a 1-cent sales tax to fund capital improvements and, in Paulding, is also being used to retire old bond debt. SPLOST funds cannot be used for regular day-to-day operating expenses like salaries and utilities. This is not a new tax. The November 5th referendum is asking voters to continue the existing sales tax another 5 years. Paulding County has had an education SPLOST in place since 1997, and the law requires that school districts go back to voters every 5 years to seek reapproval for the penny tax. 1 penny for every dollar spent in Paulding County goes towards funding the school district's capital needs. It is a consumption tax, which means the amount of tax collected is dependent on the amount of money spent in Paulding County. Anyone who spends money in Paulding, even if they are from other places and are just passing through, contributes to the E-SPLOST. Nearly all of the 181 school systems in Georgia have an E-SPLOST in place. Before SPLOST, almost all school systems had to issue bonds in order to pay for major capital needs. Because it is borrowed money, bonds provide all the funds up front. SPLOST is different. It is pay as you go, and the money is received by the school district as the tax is collected. Another key difference is that with bonds, the money borrowed has to be paid back, and with interest. On a large construction program, bond interest can add many millions to the total cost of projects. School bonds and interest are paid back exclusively by property owners in the form of a bond millage rate on homeowners' property tax bills. But in Paulding, there is no bond millage rate for property owners. That's because the school district's old bond debt is being paid by the E-SPLOST. A portion of the current E-SPLOST receipts is being used to pay down old bond debt, which keeps the bond millage on property tax bills at zero. If E-SPLOST did not exist, an additional 1.815 millage would need to be added to property tax bills in order to pay down old bond debt and interest. The E-SPLOST proposal that goes before voters on November 5th would continue paying off this old bond debt using sales tax dollars. Over the past 22 years, E-SPLOST has paid off bond debt, which keeps property taxes lower, purchased land, helped fund construction of 21 schools, added, renovated, and equipped hundreds of classrooms with technology, fine arts, and physical education improvements, and helped maintain and renovate existing facilities. One question we hear is, why is E-SPLOST needed? Why doesn't the school district's regular budget pay for these things? One way to think of it is like owning a home. Your day-to-day budget pays for groceries, utilities, and a mortgage, all recurring expenses. But when you need to make renovations to your house or build an addition, most likely you would need to go to a bank to borrow money. With more than 35 facilities, some of them already over capacity, the school district has constant long-term capital needs. Back in January, the school district held a series of community conversations that shared a lot of data with the community about growth in our county and what is expected over the next several years. Some areas of Paulding are seeing a return to significant growth, and the schools are already near or exceeding their listed capacity. The options to address overcrowded schools are few. New school construction, additions to existing facilities, redistricting, or a combination of the three are the only options that can impact a significant number of students. At the community conversations, stakeholders indicated support for constructing new schools and new classrooms to address the issue. So the E-SPLOST 6 proposal that will go before voters was drafted with this input in mind. If approved, E-SPLOST is expected to generate more than $113 million in revenue over 5 years. The district is required to set a cap where no more tax would be collected should that threshold be reached, and that cap is $120 million. As mentioned, the largest portion of E-SPLOST receipts, some $41 million, would be used to continue paying off old bond debt and interest, which would continue to ensure no bond millage on property tax bills. The second largest project in E-SPLOST 6 would be building a new school where McClure Middle School would relocate. Then, the current McClure facility could be used as an annex for North Paulding High School, opening significant additional space. Another $4 million would go toward additions at yet-to-be-determined schools with the greatest need. Almost $16 million would go toward renovation projects at Allgood, Baggett, Dugan, and Poole Elementary Schools and at Austin Middle School. More than $6 million would be used to improve safety and security at many schools throughout the district, including fire alarms and intercoms, and adding strategic enclosed corridors such as the one at East Paulding Middle School you see in this slide. Technology is always a significant need for school systems in order to provide students the latest and most effective computers, networks, Wi-Fi, and more. E-SPLOST would continue to keep Paulding classrooms up to date. Additionally, E-SPLOST would provide funding for a variety of fine arts needs, including band, choral, and visual arts needs in the elementary and middle schools, and also adding performing arts center upgrades for the high schools. Physical education improvements would include tennis court and track resurfacing at the high school levels and refinishing gym floors at the elementary and middle school levels. Each high school would receive an equal dollar amount to address facility needs, and lastly, nearly $14 million would remain undesignated as we continue to monitor growth needs in aging facilities, so the money can address new issues that may arise and be directed where the needs are greatest. The referendum on November 5th is a simple yes or no question. Voters would be approving the 6th 5-year cycle of E-SPLOST, which would continue to use SPLOST funds to pay off old bond debt instead of property tax. All eligible voters in Paulding County are encouraged to go to the polls on November 5th. More information about the E-SPLOST 6 proposal is available on the school district website at www.paulding.k12.ga.us/planning for the future. Please exercise your right to vote on November 5th.